Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
Always catches you off guard.
You do. You're quick, and then I can't like go over so I just have to wait. Okay, you said it. Now I can say it. And it's been a long week.
Yeah.
Fridays were beat up, right? Sometimes you feel like.
Yeah.
And then, spring break, kids been out of school for you, right? It gets pretty crazy. I mean, so it's been an interesting week. It's always been an interesting week for the last month, I feel, though.
Yeah. Fridays, I like to dedicate them to family, especially since my kids are off for 2 weeks. And my children are 6 and 9. And so you have older kids, so you could probably share your wisdom on what not to do while the kids are still young. But that's a different show, right?
Yeah.
But I think as far as real estate goes, I can honestly say I've been very fortunate to still pick up, listings and still have calls. And I just got another call. One of my past clients or colleagues said that his dad unfortunately just passed away. His property is in probate, and his son, who contacted me, let me know that they wanted to put their house up for sale in Hemet. And he actually has 2 properties that they want to go on the market with.
Okay, nice.
And then I have another friend who wants to sell his property in Rainbow. I don't know if you know where Rainbow is.
I do not know. Where is Rainbow?
It is right after Fallbrook. Or before Fallbrook.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Before, I think it's after Fallbrook and right before Temecula.
It's right after the pot of gold or before the pot of gold? No, just
I love Fallbrook. It's such a...
April Fools.
Oh, yeah, that's coming. But yeah, so, as far as my side of business goes for the listing, we're still seeing a lot of people who have to sell.
Yeah.
And given the market right now, given the slow turn and the shift with everything that's happening, we're still seeing buyers as well. But I'm also finding myself or us sitting down with clients and having to educate them on what historical patterns are revealing about what today's market looks like. So over the course of the past 30 years, could you believe that over the past of 30 years, we have seen the lowest amount of inventory of all of San Diego County, with a total of 1,277 properties in the month of February.
Wow, that's a very low number. Because if you think about how many people are there looking for homes, that doesn't cover a quarter of the people that are looking for homes. Probably even the number is just really low. But you brought up some good points. Like last week, I opened escrow for a couple of clients, and they're out shopping, and they weren't competing against anybody. So if you are in the market, even though inventory is low, usually that's not a good thing if you're a buyer, because you're thinking, oh my God, there's no inventory. I'm going to go in. There's going to be multiple offers. I'm going to have to offer my first kid. I mean, look, I've seen that market. I've purchased in that market. It was scary. There was not enough money you can put down. You had to give up basically all your contingencies, waive them all. Appraisal contingency waived. I mean, if you know what that means, it's like if the appraisal value would come in for less, you would still pay the difference. You agreed to that ahead of time. No inspections. And all of this was because there was too many buyers. Too many buyers. And right now, the difference is there's not a lot of buyers. Inventory's low, and you can still get in because you're not competing with anybody. I mean, that is, when we sit down with our clients, and we tell them that, they're like, okay, that's great, but it doesn't take away the fear. And the fear is what's really keeping people from buying and really maybe even taking advantage of the current situation we're in. And that's where education comes in, right?
Yeah.
Reports come in. We kind of teach them what has happened in the past, what's happening now. And the more information somebody has, to make a decision, I think it's easier to make that decision. If you're not informed, it's very difficult because your fears are going to overtake your decision making.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to note that we're not going to have a crash, a housing crash. I've heard this week that they said, oh, I was told that we should wait for the housing market to crash. Well, I hate to say this, but for anybody who believes that the market is going to crash, it's kind of...
let's break down that into data, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the previous market crash that we all know about. 2008. Okay, what led to that crash? Okay, what led to that crash was the mortgage-backed securities, so mortgage loans. Okay, what type of mortgage loans were we doing back then that created a problem 3 to 5 years later? We were doing what was called stated income loans. We were also doing what was called negative AM loans. Okay, what are those? A stated income loan was a loan where the client did not have to prove their income. It could be written down and it did not need to be verified.
Wow.
Okay, can you imagine you go in to get pre-approved and you're like, I want to get pre-approved for a house, and the first question is, well, how much is a house? Like, oh, it's $1 million. Okay, and how much income do I have to make to get approved? And they would write it down, and that was their income. And you would think, okay, how are they going to afford that payment, right? Because, okay, now you have the income portion of it, but you're buying $1 million property. How do you afford the payment? Right. One thing is to make up the income. The other is to actually have the income coming in and make the payment. Well, that's where the negative AM came in. A negative AM loan was something that was this way. So let's say your principal and interest payment was $7,000 a month. So for the first 3 years, they could bring down your payment to $2,000 a month. And the difference that you weren't paying was being added to your principal. Okay? So every month, you would pay $2,000, and then $5,000 was going to your principal balance. So your principal balance was not decreasing, it was increasing. And that was fixed for 3 years or 2 years. It was an arm.
Oh, okay.
And so hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people bought homes under those programs. So it wasn't a problem when they got in. The problem came when the loans were due. So after 3 years, your payment would go up from $2,000 to $7,000.
Wow.
And you were working and making $6,000 a month. You were upside down. You couldn't afford it. Your income wasn't sufficient. So all these loans came due around the same time in 2007 and 2008. Probably hundreds of thousands of loans. And all of a sudden, we had hundreds of thousands of people that couldn't afford to pay their mortgage payments.
Wow.
So it was a inflated market with bad mortgage notes.
Yeah.
And there was no way of solving the problem. So what happened? People got their mortgage payment and it's like, oh my God, my mortgage payment's $8,000 a month now. We can't afford this. So they would stop paying. But this happened all at the same time across the United States. And it was a major, major collapse of the mortgage industry that caused the problem of the real estate foreclosure market. Now, in today's market, our prices, believe it or not, for homes are higher now than 2008, right? So values have over increased with 2008 or before, right up leading to 2008. But now somebody that comes in to qualify for a mortgage, they have to qualify for the PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, the full payment. They have to show the income for that. So people that are buying $1 million homes, $2 million homes, they actually can afford them on paper and they make the income to qualify. So we're not expecting a mortgage crash due to mortgage rates because there's no negative AM loans, no stated income loans. So a lot of people, they are thinking the market's going to crash, real estate's going to crash. We need something to make it crash. And it's not the mortgage rates or the mortgage notes. So how is the market going to crash? That's why we don't believe there's a crash coming anytime soon. There's just no fuel to make this happen.
That is really valuable education.
That's a lot of information, but we can post these numbers and information
Yeah.
because I think it is valuable. I think people need to know why we had a crash
Exactly.
and why right now today we're not in the same situation that we were in 2008.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that helps us forecast what is going to happen because we're not seeing negative AM loans.
None.
I mean, they don't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So I think that's really valuable to know, to educate our consumers right now who are shopping out there, especially those who are unrepresented, looking at open houses right now, who are waiting to see what's on the market and hoping, crossing their fingers that the market will crash. So that definitely debunked that myth.
Yeah. Yeah. So really, realistically, if you are hoping for that, we've had people waiting 2-3 years for that to happen, maybe even 4 years right after COVID, right? And they've lost opportunities. I mean,
Yeah.
we've helped clients get into the market in the last couple of years. They waited maybe a couple of years and now they have equity.
Yeah.
And they're glad they got in, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's why it's important that everybody should come to our April 18th
Yes.
home buying seminar because we're going to really break down some specific calculations that compares buying now versus buying later. And for people who are comfortable renting, what that looks like compared to actually owning.
Yes. Well, you don't want to miss that. We're going to have a lot of information of how we do our meetings, our relationships, and what value we bring to our clients. Because everybody's different, but I think what we do is we provide data and we really customize our data to our clients. Each client, each family is individually different, and it's worked for us. And it's worked for our clients. And I think you get a lot of value of coming to this class.
Absolutely. Well, happy Friday, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. We hope you've received as much value as Ruben had to share here. And happy hunting.
Yeah, and you know what? Comment below and let us know if there's something you want us to talk about that's real estate, mortgage related. We'll love to kind of know what you're thinking and let us know.